So, this gist is piping hot. And if you've ever wondered what happens when a family of pranksters decides to take gross out challenges to the next level, you're in for a wild ride. So, relax and grab a snack, because it's about to get messy. With the most disgusting family you never would have guessed on YouTube. We've all heard of terrible parents on the internet. Yeah, the ones that make you cringe so hard, you feel it in your soul. But here's the heartbreaking part. It's not just one lone clueless parent out there. Nope, it's like a whole squad of them, collectively deciding, hey, let's cut our kids off from normal human contact. No friends, no neighbors, no school, nothing. And instead, cram them into tiny spaces like they're living in a weird, real-life game of Tetris. Imagine kids sleeping on floors, sometimes even in dog cages, beds so tiny the kids call them coffins, and teenagers with zero privacy. That's not even the worst part. It would have been more bearable if this was a one-time affair, but as shocking as it would sound, this is literally their lives, living in a cramped van and always on the road. You may be wondering why, right? You already know how it goes. As long as the cameras are rolling and views are raking in millions, the parents are making money. So the kids better shut it and adopt the forced lifestyle their crazy parents have decided for them. Indeed, this is nothing short of an overdose of madness, modern-day slavery, child labor, and a gross failure on the part of child protection services. Apparently, some parents dedicate their lives to having more kids, like they're collecting stamps, only to discover even more creative ways to lose their sanity. That's not just dedication. That's a whole new level of, what were you thinking? But do you know what is even worse? People aren't just watching this bizarre stuff. They're throwing money at it. Seriously, you can't say it's none of our business when they're cashing in on their kids' misery. So yeah, maybe you should double-check what you're bankrolling. Now, here's the kick. See, JD and Brittany run the Instagram account American Family Road Trip, where they stuff as many kids as humanly possible into a tiny bus, drag them across the country, and make them perform daily for the camera. Because what says family bonding like turning your kids into a traveling content machine? Look, we all know the drill. Family channels gotta have more kids than a soccer team. The Instagram's got 1,800 posts, and surprise, it's basically all kids. Should we be side-eyeing that? Oh, absolutely. Can you beat it? Probably not, unless you're running a daycare. The only workers that don't have time off, a day off, or any kind of relaxation. Once more, their social media business is flourishing, as evidenced by the over 700,000 followers they have amassed on Instagram alone. But in all, shamelessness is a quality shared by those who lack it. Would you believe that based on what we just saw in their YouTube bio, they are blatantly proud of whatever it is they are doing? We are a family of 9 with 7 young children living in a 22-square-foot converted school bus, and we wouldn't have it any other way. They are so busy using their kids that they have forgotten to update this information. They are actually a family of 10 now. According to them, for 10 months, we converted a school bus into an RV, sold everything, and hit the road to restore focus on our faith and family. Our big family has been on the road homeschooling, road school, traveling throughout the USA for almost 4 years. Do you know what's even more disturbing? It's the fact that with this mentality, it is unlikely that these children will be saved, as their parents believe they are doing a fantastic job of protecting family values and giving their families their full attention. Also, why do these so-called Christian influencers tell such lies so often? They stated that they transformed a school bus into an RV in 10 months, but they forgot to add that this was just an old military bus they acquired from St. Louis in an earlier Instagram post. It makes sense why it's always advisable to have an excellent memory if you plan to lie. They put it out there every 2 seconds that they educate their children, but the only reason they could have fabricated such an unnecessary lie was to make their content appear more wholesome. Now, this is when it gets tricky. Unbelievably, this family was formerly just a regular family across the street, yet they were also upselling their 7,000 square foot Texas home. This was because, allegedly, their father had an encounter with God in which God told him to construct an ark, but he chose to build an RV instead. All they have to call home is that RV, and for however long their parents choose, the kids can live there, whether it's in the middle of the road, a forest, or a garage. Guys, this is pretty much how their entire lives have gone. They began with just 4 children, but as you may recall, they now have 8 more. If you think your life is difficult, consider the life of a 4-year-old who has never experienced anything more than a cramped 22 square foot vintage or military bus. But why endangering the lives of those kids? Was it intentional, or was it just for the views and money? As previously said, practically all of their films feature their children's faces plastered all over the screen, always dancing in a rehearsed manner and seeming incredibly bored and lifeless. Picture this. A parent has an idea for a film, and each child receives instructions. They then practice, and practice. Basically, this means learning dancing moves or song lyrics by heart. The camera then moves to ready to roll. This allows for multiple takes until they obtain the ideal photo, just in case something goes wrong, which is inevitable when attempting to get children that age to be uniform. OMG, when do they ever read? This homeschooling arrangement does not appear to be working, because after a full day of work, these children are clearly too fatigued to add one more. When I checked the dates when these movies were published, I discovered that they brazenly post every day. So either these kids are on set every day, or they have mass production days, which both seem horrible. The simple fact remains that they are essentially doing the same thing as child performers, but there are no regulations to protect them, and they are not compensated. You will eventually burn out if you haven't already, because things will only get worse from here on out. Going on to the less pleasant aspects, these parents are obsessive about making memories. After all, this isn't a lifetime of road trips. Where do you draw the line? Other priorities in life include obtaining a good education, forming friendships, learning how to get along with people, and developing effective communication skills. It may surprise you to learn that these kids will feel exposed when they finally venture out on their own. We have to ask ourselves, is this really entertainment? Like, are we okay with watching kids get emotionally manipulated, dunked in slime, and accidentally punched in the face by dad trying to prank them with a rubber chicken? Is this what family content has come to, or are we all just one good fart joke away from completely losing our standards? Exposing the skeletons in the closet, all the not-so-glamorous stuff JD and Brittany don't want all to see. First, it's a no-brainer that the logistics of 10 people living in such a cramped space is literally the most disgusting thing that is. There you have it, guys. She's either our mom and neither are we her kids. I guess all we have to do is sit back and see how this plays out in the end. But one thing is for sure, the childhoods of these kids have been ruined already. So, if you ever find yourself in need of a reminder that your family isn't that bad, just hop onto YouTube and check out the most disgusting family on the platform. Just don't watch while eating. Trust me on this one. But what's your take on the American family road trip? Do you think it's all just harmless fun? Should there be more regulations to protect kids in family vlogs? Or is this just the price of YouTube fame? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, if you found this video eye-opening, click our previous video displaying on your screen now, hit that like button, subscribe, and share with someone who needs to hear it. Let's keep this conversation going. See you in our next video.